Ladies and gentlemen, young and old alike, I say to you today, if you want to become unstoppable in your purpose, then you must learn to do what is hard. Not once, not when it's convenient, but every single day with conviction. We were not created to drift through life on a tide of ease and comfort. We were built to climb mountains. We were called to stand in the fire, not to be burned, but to be refined. The easy road may look pleasant, but it leads nowhere worth going. The hard road, it shapes you, molds you, tests you, and then it transforms you. When you choose to rise early to work while others sleep, when you speak the truth when a lie would be easier, when you sacrifice momentary pleasure for lasting purpose, you are becoming someone this world cannot stop. True power is forged through adversity. It's easy to look at those who seem unshakable, unstoppable, and unbreakable, and assume they were simply born with a special gift, a rare inner force that allows them to stand tall while others fall. But that assumption is false. What makes a person truly strong is not the absence of hardship, but the refining presence of it. Hardship, difficulty, and challenge are not obstacles to be feared or avoided. They are the very tools through which strength is built, character is shaped, and resilience is birthed. Think about how a blacksmith molds iron into a blade. The metal is first placed into a fire so hot that it glows red. Then it is pounded, stretched, and shaped with relentless force. Only after enduring the flame and the hammer does the metal become something strong, useful, and sharp. In the same way, human strength is not formed in calm waters. It is formed in the fire of trials. We are not made better in moments of ease, but in the crucible of life's fiercest pressures. If you avoid what is hard, you are avoiding your own growth. Every time you take the easy way out, you rob yourself of the opportunity to become more than you were yesterday. The hard things you face, whether they are failures, rejections, setbacks, personal struggles, or painful choices, are not punishments. They are preparations. Each one is a lesson wrapped in discomfort. Each one is an invitation to rise, to endure, to dig deeper into your soul and discover the kind of strength that cannot be taught in books or learned in comfort. It is through hardship that we discover what we're truly made of. It is when we are stripped of ease, certainty, and applause that we uncover the quiet, relentless will to keep moving forward. That strength, born not of arrogance but of perseverance, is what makes a person unstoppable. You may be bruised, battered, or even broken at times, but if you rise one more time than you fall, you are already walking the road that leads to greatness. The people who leave a legacy are not those who had it easy. They are those who walked through fire and came out refined, not ruined. They are the ones who were willing to suffer for what mattered. They didn't choose comfort. They chose conviction. And through that choice, they found power. So don't curse your hardship. Don't run from what is hard. Instead, face it with resolve. Let it teach you. Let it shape you. Let it strengthen you. Because on the other side of that difficulty is a version of you that you haven't even met yet. Stronger, wiser, more focused, and more fearless than you ever thought possible. Do what is hard, and you'll discover that you are far more powerful than you know. The pain may last for a season, but the strength it gives you will last a lifetime. Discipline is the quiet force behind every lasting achievement. While motivation can be powerful, it is fleeting. It is like a spark, bright, exciting, and energizing, but it fades quickly unless it is sustained by something deeper. Discipline, on the other hand, is steady. It does not depend on emotion or inspiration. It is a choice, a commitment, a daily decision to do what needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not. If you want to be unstoppable, if you want to reach the highest level of your potential, you must build a life anchored in discipline. There are many people who start strong. They get excited, set goals, make plans, and begin with passion. But when the excitement wears off, when the obstacles show up, they begin to falter. Why? Because they were relying on motivation alone. Motivation is based on how you feel. Discipline is based on who you are. Discipline says, I will act according to my values, not my feelings. And that is the key difference between someone who finishes the race and someone who gives up halfway. Discipline is doing the work when no one is watching. It's showing up to the gym when your body is tired, studying when your mind is restless, praying when your soul feels dry, and pushing forward when your heart is filled with doubt. It's in those moments when everything inside you says, take it easy, that your future is being shaped. Every disciplined action you take is a deposit into the life you want to build. And every time you choose discipline over comfort, you strengthen your will like a muscle. There will be times when discipline feels like a burden. You will want to quit. You will question whether it's worth it. But that is the very reason why it is so powerful. Discipline is not meant to be easy. It is meant to be transformative. It breaks you out of the cycle of inconsistency and elevates you to a higher standard of living. It separates those who dream from those who achieve. It separates the average from the exceptional. The beauty of discipline is that it doesn't lie. It reveals your priorities. What you do repeatedly becomes who you are. If you want to become someone who is unstoppable, you must become someone who is unshakably disciplined. Not just once, not just when it's easy, but especially when it's hard. You train your mind to follow through. You build your habits with purpose. You live your life with intention. And in time, you will begin to reap what you have sown. The results will come, not overnight, but inevitably. You will gain strength in your body, clarity in your mind, peace in your heart, and progress in your path. Others may wonder how you do it, but you will know. You will know it wasn't luck, talent, or chance. It was discipline. Quiet, persistent, powerful discipline. That is the foundation of the unstoppable life. Comfort is one of the most deceptive forces in life. It feels good in the moment, but over time, it quietly robs you of your potential. When you seek comfort above all else, you begin to settle. You lower your standards. You become stagnant. What once felt like a harmless desire for rest slowly becomes a trap, a subtle enemy of growth. It whispers to you, you've done enough. When deep down you know you haven't even scratched the surface of what you're capable of. The truth is simple but hard. Comfort breeds complacency, And complacency kills greatness. It's natural to want ease. The human heart gravitates toward what is safe, familiar, and non-threatening. But if you always choose what's easy, you will never know how far you could have gone. Growth doesn't happen in the comfort zone. It happens when you stretch yourself, when you step into discomfort, when you challenge your own limits, when you push through resistance, even though every part of you wants to back down. If you want to become unstoppable, you have to get uncomfortable with being comfortable. Complacency doesn't always look like laziness. Sometimes it looks like repeating the same routine, never asking deeper questions, never trying new things, never risking failure. You convince yourself you're doing fine, and that's enough. But inside, you feel the weight of untapped potential. You know there is more in you, but comfort makes you hesitate. It blinds you to the urgency of your calling. It keeps you trapped in cycles that feel safe, but are slowly shrinking your future. Many of the greatest breakthroughs in life only come when you walk away from comfort. The person who dares to wake up earlier, train harder, speak honestly, sacrifice convenience, or pursue excellence when mediocrity is easier, that person will grow while others remain the same. There is nothing wrong with rest, but when rest becomes your lifestyle instead of your recovery, you stop advancing. You start existing instead of living. To break out of complacency, you must make a conscious choice every day to reject what is easy when it's not what is right. You must remind yourself that growth is painful, but so is regret, and regret lasts far longer. The cost of comfort may not be obvious today, but over time, it steals your dreams, your drive, and your sense of purpose. Choosing discomfort in the short term is what builds strength, character, and resilience in the long term. The people who become truly unstoppable are not the ones who had perfect conditions. They are the ones who refused to let comfort steal their fire. They ran toward the challenge. They endured discomfort with purpose. They understood that pressure creates diamonds, but only when you stay in the process long enough. So ask yourself, are you choosing comfort or are you choosing growth? Are you living by convenience or are you living by conviction? You cannot have both. One will always come at the cost of the other. The more you embrace what is uncomfortable today, the more equipped you'll be to overcome what seems impossible tomorrow. Don't let the false peace of comfort steal the real joy, becoming who you were meant to be. The path to greatness is uphill, and that path is never found in the comfort zone. Purpose is the force that gives pain meaning. Without purpose, pain feels random, cruel, and unbearable. But when you understand your purpose, when you know why you are fighting, growing, sacrificing, then even the heaviest burdens become bearable. Purpose transforms pain from something, breaks you into something that builds you. It becomes the lens through which you view every hardship, not as a punishment, but as preparation. When you live with purpose, you don't run from the struggle. You walk through it with your head held high, knowing it is shaping you for something greater. Many people spend their lives trying to avoid pain. They dodge discomfort, avoid failure, and back away from risk. But pain is not the enemy. Pain is the signal that you're growing, that you're stretching, that you're moving beyond your limits. It only becomes unbearable when it lacks direction. Without purpose, pain feels pointless. With purpose, pain becomes powerful. It becomes the fire that forges endurance, the storm that tests your anchor, the valley that strengthens your legs for the next mountain. When you understand you can endure any. Think about the athlete who wakes up at dawn, pushing their body to the limit day after day. Think about the parent who sacrifices their own comfort to provide for their child. Think about the student who studies late into the night to build a future no one else can see. What do they all have in common? Purpose. A deep conviction that the struggle is worth it, that the pain they feel now is a necessary part of the victory they are chasing. Purpose does not eliminate pain, but it gives you a reason to keep going. It reminds you that you are not suffering in vain. It turns tears into testimony. It transforms failure into a lesson. It gives strength to your steps even when the road is steep. With purpose, even silence has meaning. Even setbacks have significance. You begin to see that every hardship, every challenge, every moment of fatigue is part of a bigger picture that is still being painted. But purpose must be chosen. It doesn't simply appear. You must search for it, fight for it, and hold on to it when everything in life tries to pull it from your hands. You must decide what matters most and build your life around it. And when you do, pain no longer feels like an obstacle. It feels like proof that you're on the right path. Because anything worth achieving will cost you something. And when you know your purpose, you'll be willing to pay the price. Those who become unstoppable are not those who live painless lives. They are the ones who find purpose in the pain. They let every scar tell a story of perseverance. They let every challenge remind them of the cause that keeps them moving. They don't get discouraged by how hard it gets. They are encouraged because the difficulty proves the importance of the mission. So don't resent the struggle. Don't curse the pain. Instead, ask yourself, what is this teaching me? What is this preparing me for? What purpose is this revealing in me? And then keep moving, keep growing, keep believing. Because when you live with purpose, even your pain becomes part of your power. Resistance is not your enemy. It is your teacher, your trainer, your unseen ally in the journey of becoming unstoppable. Just as muscles grow stronger only when they are challenged by weight, your character, your endurance, and your inner strength grow through the resistance you face in life. Without resistance, there is no growth. Without opposition, there is no triumph. If you want to rise, if you want to develop real resilience, then you must learn to embrace resistance instead of avoiding it. You must allow it to shape you, not break you. In nature, we see this principle at work everywhere. Trees grow deeper roots not in gentle breezes, but in strong winds. Eagles learn to fly not in still air, but by catching the turbulence. The diamond is formed under pressure, the sword is sharpened by friction, and gold is purified through fire. The same principle applies to the human spirit. Resistance reveals what's real. It exposes weakness so that it can be strengthened. It uncovers fear so that it can be faced. It brings to the surface the qualities within you that comfort would leave buried forever. When you begin to understand this truth, resistance stops feeling like punishment and starts feeling like preparation. Each challenge, each delay, each struggle is an opportunity. It may not feel like it in the moment. Resistance rarely comes dressed as a blessing. It often comes as hardship, rejection, conflict, failure, or disappointment. But hidden within each of these is a lesson, a refinement, a chance to rise above what you used to be and become something more. Resistance forces you to dig deep, to discover inner resources you never knew you had. The people who thrive in life are not those who have avoided hardship, but those who have learned to see hardship as part of the process. They don't shrink in the face of difficulty. They stretch. They don't complain about how heavy the load is. They strengthen their shoulders to carry it. They don't pray for life to be easier. They prepare themselves to be stronger. That mindset is what sets them apart. That mindset is what makes them unstoppable. Resilience is not about never falling. It is about rising every time you do. Resistance teaches you how to get back up, how to adapt, how to persevere when everything inside you wants to give in. It toughens your spirit. It teaches patience. It builds grit. And over time, it engraves a mindset into your soul that says, no matter what comes, I will not quit. This is why you must not fear resistance. It is not there to destroy you, but to develop you. It is not a sign that you are on the wrong path, but often a confirmation that you are on the right one. If you never face opposition, it may be because you are not pushing hard enough. Growth always meets resistance, because greatness never comes easy. So the next time life pushes back, don't retreat, push forward. The resistance is not in the way, it is the way. And with every step you take through it, you are building resilience. Not the kind that is loud and flashy, but the kind that lasts. The kind that holds steady under pressure. The kind that turns ordinary people into unstoppable forces. Courage is not loud. It does not always come with a roar or a dramatic moment. Courage is often quiet. Sometimes it's a whisper that simply says, try again tomorrow. True courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision to move forward in spite of it. It is obedience in the face of fear. It's standing up, showing up, and pressing on even when your knees are shaking and your heart is uncertain. The world often tells us that to be strong is to feel no fear. But the truth is, strength is proven when fear is present, and yet you choose to act anyway. Every meaningful journey will test your courage. Every calling will stretch you beyond the safety of what you know. There will be moments when the fear of failure, the fear of judgment, or the fear of pain will try to paralyze you. But this is the very place where courage begins its work. It begins when you obey the voice of purpose rather than the voice of fear. Courage is not impulsive recklessness. It is thoughtful obedience to what is right, even when the cost is high and the outcome is unclear. There is a kind of courage that the world overlooks. The courage to stay committed when progress is slow. The courage to be kind in a world that celebrates cruelty. The courage to keep building when no one is applauding. The courage to say no when compromise is easier. The courage to be still and wait when rushing ahead seems more tempting. These are not acts of emotion, but acts of obedience. Obedience to your higher calling, to your values, to your purpose. Fear is natural. It's part of the human experience. It warns us of danger, but it also often exaggerates risk and underestimates our strength. Fear will always shout louder than truth unless you choose to quiet it with faith. And faith, in its purest form, is the foundation of courage. It says, even though I don't know what will happen, I trust that I am not alone. I trust that this step matters. I trust that my effort is not in vain. That trust gives birth to courage, not the kind that removes fear, but the kind that refuses to be ruled by it. Courage is choosing responsibility when escape would be easier. It is taking the next step when the road ahead is dark. It is speaking the truth when silence would protect your reputation. It is forgiving when bitterness feels justified. These are all small acts, but over time, they form an unshakable character. Courage grows through practice. Every time you obey the call to act in the face of fear, you make it stronger. Unstoppable people are not fearless, they are faithful. They listen carefully to what is right and then do it, regardless of how they feel. They have learned to walk forward with fear at their heels, refusing to let it sit in the driver's seat. They live with conviction, not convenience. They understand that every act of courage is a seed planted, and those seeds grow into a life that cannot be shaken by storms or setbacks. So do not wait for courage to come to you in a moment of inspiration. Call it forward by choosing obedience to your purpose. Obey when it's difficult. Obey when it's lonely. Obey when it costs you. That obedience, quiet, steady, humble, is the purest form of courage, and it will lead you to a life that fear can never stop.